All right, the Advisory Committee on Sustainability, May 8th, 2019. Here we are. First item on the agenda is approving Terry's well-documented minutes from last month.
Excellent.
Well documented they are.
We should just actually ask Carolyn to read and approve them.
I just have one quick thing.
You know me so well, Terry.
Terry, under Milford Farms, where it says Milford Farms and Quantum, under recycling food scraps.
I'm trying to get to the minutes, but go ahead.
Okay. It says Milford Farms and Quantum supply composting kits. It should just be compost. They don't supply the kits.
Okay.
They sell compost.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes as modified? Oh, there it is.
I make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? 4-0. Minutes are approved. Item 2, recycling and food scrap recycling. Cover these in whichever order you wish.
All of those. That's why I sent the email. So
It was a great email. Oh, I should call it up. It's fantastic. You probably have it in front of you. But,
I do.
All right, let me grab the email because that was a fantastic summary of kind of where we're at with all of these items. There it is.
Basically, we have 200 new kits
I found
to
it.
sell.
So one, you've got all the kits.
Yes.
You're working through them.
Yes.
They seem to be a better quality, which is
Yep.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should go ahead and print 300 more food scrap recycling guides for
Okay.
$185.
Okay.
Unless anybody wants to protest, we'll vote by consent. All those in favor, aye. Same with the compostable bags. I think, how many are in 40 boxes? Is that,
40 boxes is 800 rolls.
that seems like a lot.
Yeah, that's what we
That's a
ordered the
lot.
first time.
Yeah.
I think to order twice as many,
Would be too
that's
much.
too many.
Yeah.
At a time.
Okay.
It's just we're gonna have to pay the shipping, and the shipping is hefty. It's like, I think, over $100.
Yeah, but 1,600 rolls
I
is
know.
quite a stockpile.
Yeah.
Did you send that email to me also?
No.
All right, so I'm just going to ask you to send that to me so I don't have to write it all down. and
Sending it to
I'll
you
Okay.
now?
Attach it.
Yep.
Send.
Okay, so 40 boxes.
Twice a week pickup will start as the weather gets warmer.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip 5 for now because I'm going to do the easy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you're suggesting a date of June 8th for our compost giveaway.
Only if you want me there. If I don't have to be there, it can be.
You're our like star. You're like you are the compost queen.
Is that a compliment? It is.
Hey, I'm
it was
the
better
front
than
king,
saying
move
like
on.
Yeah, it would
you're our
have-
scrappy food scrapper.
Yeah. So yeah, it would have to be June 8th. in
I'm
that
available
case.
June 8th.
What
Okay.
day of the week is that?
Saturday. It's the second Saturday in June, so it won't interfere with.
Memorial Day weekend.
It won't,
Or what?
yeah, and it won't interfere with household hazardous waste. Isn't that the first June in?
First weekend in June, June 1st, I believe.
Is it June
Yeah.
1st? Yeah,
I believe
okay,
it
yeah.
is.
So it's good that it won't be that day.
Okay, good.
Kit sales
You will be selling May 11th at Henley Happening.
at the Henley Happening.
You
Does
are a
anyone
rock
wanna
star.
help?
Yeah, who wants to help with the Henley
When
Happening?
is-
Saturday,
May 11th.
Henley Happening.
I have a wedding.
You have a wedding? Okay.
Do you want to sell
Christine
kits at
might
the
be
wedding?
able to help.
In West Point?
I'm up in Massachusetts
they're,
with my grandson
Okay.
rowing.
Okay, so you're out.
I'm gonna see
It's
where
my
I'll
wife's
see where
birthday. I'm not allowed to mention the number, so. I'll-
All
Okay.
right, you're out.
I mean, I can pull a few. There are actually.
Send me the times. See if we can.
Okay,
I'll see if I
well,
can get
I'm supposed to be there at 10 o'clock, but,
Well, they have volunteers too, like my
Okay.
niece is volunteering, so they
okay.
could help.
And,
Is there an organization at the high school that's involved with recycling?
I don't know. There's the
Because
Eco Club, but
They have the
Christine has.
citizenship
Someone mentioned
Christine
a high school
did.
contact that
Yes,
might be
and
interested.
Christine is gonna check with her.
Okay.
And also, I have a couple of people, in the process of selling kits who have said if you ever need anyone to help.
So,
And I
Yeah.
put a star next to their name, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be reaching out to a few of
this
those.
seems like a good time to do that, because like
Yeah.
this next month or so,
Yes.
we really want to make a push.
Right.
So getting them into the fold to help us
Yes.
make a push sounds like a great idea.
Right, and a lot of young families,
Yeah,
so.
that's a good idea. Excellent.
So I'll be doing that.
I'm going out of order a little bit because I want to do the one that'll take a little longer next. So number 9 is the guys that run the station have decided the best way to manage the bins is to keep 2 up front and keep the rest of the bins in reserve. But what we're hearing, what I'm seeing and experiencing, the complaints that we're getting is those 2 will fill up quick, and the guys aren't necessarily as quick with all of their other tasks
Right.
to getting to replacing them. So people are showing up and they've got overflowing bins and they don't know what to do.
Right,
So I think the easy solution is 2 is not enough. So we should go to 4, just picking
that's
the-
what's there
the
now,
next
and
logical
Darren
number.
said that there were 2 that are half full. I mean, it's, you know, well, I think we're just gonna have to play around with the number
Yeah.
to figure out what is the
Yeah.
optimal number, especially as it gets warmer.
Yeah,
Or
You know,
you could post that, put it in the first bin first and move over. because-
could, yeah.
Because.
fill here first.
Yeah, fill to the left.
But we would have to get kind of permanent and then put it by a
yeah,
permanent
we need to
sign.
get some little signs or something to.
Because
say
I did the
that.
same thing, I saw both of them had half
Well,
of.
I think if you look at the sign that says cardboard here and the cardboard that exists in the other
Good
bin, then
point.
creating a sign is a waste of ink.
That's true.
I think, just get another bin out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we empty 1 or 2 half-full bins each cycle, so be
Yeah.
it. I'd rather have bins available to take food when people arrive.
Right.
So-
But the problem with having so many of them out at one time was mass confusion.
Because they would be kind of like, oh, where
Yeah,
do I put
people
it?
would just walk around the circle like trying to open, and things would be bungee corded, and they
Yeah.
just didn't know where to
Yeah.
go, so.
So there's
it
4
was-
open ones.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 is a good
Yeah.
number.
And who communicates with the guys in the field? Are you doing that? Is Darren doing that?
Darren.
Darren does that, okay. Okay, so that'll be managed, and it'll be a work in progress, but we
Yeah.
know 2 is not enough.
Right,
All right, moving back to the 2 that require a little more discussion. One is the idea of, I don't know what the right word is, encouraging or asking private haulers if they're interested in participating in offering a curbside service to their clients. And then how would that change the program and how could it be managed? So it doesn't surprise me that Tom is interested, because he doesn't use a typical hauling truck that has separated bins, right? He's
Right.
kind of doing more discrete and unique pickups.
his customers have been asking for the service.
So if he provides it to his customers and he is picking up separated scraps, how do we want to handle that at our facility? So we'd have to figure out with him, is he going to keep a, I'm imagining a 30 or a 50-gallon garbage can in his truck that gets filled with the food scraps separated from anything else, but then he's going to arrive at the recycling center with it. What is he supposed to do with it when he gets there? So that's the kind of discussion I think we need to have.
Could we get one of the bins that, just like the one we have up there?
Use a
That-
curbside
that's-
one?
well,
And then just drop it off?
Or Ed and I were talking, he could just get a 32-gallon bin, his own. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
curbside bin. It could
Oh, because
be
and then
any
he'll just drop it off, and then
Yeah.
curbside will empty it when they come, and he can
Right.
grab it when he gets there.
Right.
Oh, that's a great
The
idea.
issue is measuring what's being dropped off and then creating a fee structure for charging for the food
Mhm.
waste, which ideally would be less than MSW.
Hmm.
Otherwise,
Yeah, What do we get
incentives-
charged per pound? We get charged per pound, right?
No, we
don't.
get charged per visit plus toter.
Okay, visit plus total. We
Yeah,
were
so it's-
estimating the poundage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we back figure what that's cost us so far?
You have to go back and look at.
Based on the
co- Yeah,
tonnage.
yeah, I can get a ballpark.
Okay.
Mhm.
Maybe we should start there, but I agree, we should, to provide incentive to the idea, makes sense to have it at some discount.
Right. Otherwise, why would they, what would incentivize?
But then you have the situation where Tom's coming in with the truck.
Mhm.
He's getting it weighed
Yes.
for what's on there. And what's on there, is it recycling? Is it
Well, that's-
MSW? Is it, and then how do you weigh it separately?
He would have to just make a run in with the truck with the food scraps on it, I think,
Yeah,
right?
it's interesting. Unless he's willing to provide it as a service and just run in with his MSW and pay whatever it is, I guess, based on the MSW weight. You know, because then he's making 3 trips effectively. He's got to make a separate trip with just recycling in his truck, another trip with just MSW in his truck, and another trip with just food scraps in his truck.
Right.
You know, that probably, you know, we can ask him, but it may
Mhm.
not be
Yeah.
operationally efficient for him. Maybe he'd just rather just pay the fee and pay the weight by MSW and move on. So there's a conversation with him. So you've talked to him?
Yes.
So maybe we should ask him if that sounds, how he would do it.
Mhm.
You know, when he would pick it up, and
Okay.
would he be bringing it in with the MSW?
I think he suggests, yeah, I have some notes on this, not with me at the moment, but we did talk about that, and I can't recall if he said he would pick it up on a separate day, because we also talked about how that can sort of create fatigue with
Yeah,
residents
yeah,
if they have to put
three-
something out
Monday's
3 days
this,
a week.
Wednesday's
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
Friday's this,
exactly.
like,
Right,
you know,
right.
I'm just
So,
gonna throw it away.
I do have some notes on that, I'll
Yeah.
have to refresh my memory with them,
Okay.
but I'm not sure that we did actually arrive at
Okay,
a strategy,
okay.
a good strategy.
But I think he would be a great one to start with. He's a relatively,
that's the question.
it's relatively low load,
Yeah,
and he's probably the most flexible in how to do it.
mhm,
So maybe we just run it as a pilot
okay.
for now, before we
Open it up.
think about the bigger picture of how you do it with some of the larger providers.
Could you give him a weight credit for the average weight of one of those things that he brings in with food scraps?
It's a possibility. I mean, I think we can consider, different things. Ed's looking skeptical.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe it's the amount of food. He's already paying for it, because right now that food is in the garbage.
Yes.
So it's not like we're adding a fee. You know?
Unless some of his customers are source separating and then bringing it in themselves.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden.
But let's imagine that's not the case,
Okay.
right?
We don't charge.
I'm his customer.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Are you source separating your food scraps and taking them separately?
Well, I have to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So, I don't know. I think we should. I think, to me, well, let's have the conversation.
right,
But
right. Let's explore it
I think
and
for
consider a pilot.
his business plan, I don't know that the amount he's going to save on a percentage of what he's doing is meaningful for
Yeah.
us to really.
For the food scrap pickup too, extra? Would you be charging that?
That's up to him.
Yeah, that's up to him.
So, but you're right. If he's going to get money for it anyway, he doesn't care how much he's paying for it. I don't know. But
Unless
let's
he
with
can save money because he's not having that food.
yeah. But right now the program doesn't save us money, right? It until we scale up, it's
Right, we
actually
have to
probably a
scale
little
up.
bit more expensive than MSW for us. It's probably what you're going to find when you do the numbers.
Mhm.
But aren't you saving money because if the weight is not in?
It has to get.
There is an offset, because we're not paying the 90 some odd dollars to have the MSW trucked to Bridgeport and tipped at Wheelabrator, but we are paying for the food scraps to be picked up by curbside compost.
Right,
And right now, the weight that we're saving
right.
and the cost of curbside compost is not in our favor.
I see.
And that's what the grant has covered.
Right.
as we launch the
And
program.
that's why we want to scale up the
Got it.
quantity that we collect, because then it
I
will.
was curious where you were at with that rethink.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
We estimated what, 1.5 tons?
1.5 to 2 tons is our break-even point per week.
Per week.
Yeah, and we're at
And what-
0.6
how
tons.
much
We're
is
at
break-even?
1.5 to 2.
Are we increasing the tonnage?
It's
Are we
been
increasing the tonnage?
It's been relatively consistent for the
Yeah.
last few months at 0.6 tons
Per week.
per week.
0.6?
Yeah.
0.6 something, like 0.65, yeah.
Couple 2/3.
We have to do more selling.
Yes. So okay. So let's not get mired down in the details here because we have a lot to cover and we're not going to solve them all. But yes, we're open to the idea of trying to work something out with this hauler.
Yes.
And
As
I think
a pilot.
and I think as a pilot, I think we should stop there for now before we try to take on the task of
Everyone.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Mhm.
And then the other item that I skipped over that we want to go back to is hose. And whether or not it's feasible to provide a means to hose food scrap buckets at the recycling center. And so, comes to you. Hose doesn't just mean the delivery of water, but now we also have the issue of the collection of water. So now we have kind of mucky,
Dirty.
food scrappy water
Yeah.
that if it's just in that area is running down the pavement to the nearest catch
What is
basin.
the benefit we're looking to achieve?
Convenience for residents who don't want to, put a dirty, smelly container back in their car, although,
They've already driven there with it.
right. And with the use of the compostable bags, that minimizes it. And also, what I tell people to do too, this is what I personally do, I line my green bucket, the 6-gallon container, with 1 sheet of black and white newspaper, because newspaper is,
You can put it in there.
yeah, you can put in small. I don't want to tell people it's okay to put
Or a
newspaper.
brown paper bag, or.
Yeah, or even
yeah.
a napkin.
Yeah.
So this is for the convenience of people who are concerned about sullying their vehicles, not
Yeah.
anything for the
Yeah,
town.
Yeah,
a dirty.
For me, what I do is I wash it out when I get home, before I put it
Yeah,
back in my garage.
right.
I say,
Yeah.
I don't know why we're spending time on this right now.
Okay.
People have been asking for it.
I like dairy.
A lot of rock, a lot of rock.
I'm
Just the discharge
of it.
I'm guessing it
Driving
creates
I use the paper
a
bag
mess
and
that we don't have the ability to deal with.
Okay.
Because if this gets into probably the DEP's approval of, stop me if I'm wrong,
General permit.
DEP approval of the operation.
Right.
And so they need to understand exactly what's occurring in each space. So if you add something like a wash area for food scrap buckets, they're gonna say, where's that water going and how is it being treated before it gets into the water course?
Sounds
Okay.
like the cure is worse than the disease.
Yeah, and so then you'd have like a septic tank and a thing, and have to get that thing, and it's a $20,000, and anyway, so, moving on. So
Okay,
we're
so
not,
not this year.
not this year.
Okay.
We recommend that they use a piece of newspaper or a piece of brown paper bag, or hose it out when they get home.
Right.
Excellent. And so that is that. So we are looking for a volunteer for Hinley Happening, May 11th, to go with you and sell kits. And in general, we want everybody back engaged, now that we have weather like this, to spend some Saturday mornings for a couple hours at the recycling center to push kit sales. And your sticker sales are starting
Yes,
now-ish, or June-ish?
last week-ish.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
going
the
on
card-
now?
the Postcards went out May 3rd. We've been selling them since April.
Okay. Are people starting to come in?
They are.
Okay. So also during the week, if folks are available and interested, we want to try to sell kits here. Are we selling kits? Are you guys offering them there?
I think it's gonna be difficult for me to sell them and sell those RDA stickers during the next, I'd say, month and a half to 2 months when it's busy in here. Any other time, it's not a problem.
Well, I know, but we want to get the traffic. We literally want, since, like, how many times am I
We're
going
gonna
to
have
go
to
to
capture them
DPW?
outside the office.
You know what,
Okay.
like, that might be something, instead of just going to the events, they're already going to get their dump sticker,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I
we-
would volunteer, because I have flexible hours, not necessarily on Saturdays, but I could come for an hour or whenever it's busiest.
Yeah, that would be
Put out a
great.
table, and say, while you're at it, you know, that you can do food composting, because it's.
I think
Yeah, we talked
should do
about
that.
that last month.
I think we
Is
should,
that-
yeah,
is that
if
like-
any are willing to do that during the week, that'd be
You would
fantastic.
have
Okay,
somebody else
good.
other than your department.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was typing in what I just missed what
I agree
happened.
with you.
So, we want to sell kits in town hall during the week now, while,
It's gonna be a volunteer.
while the
Yes.
stickers are,
Yes.
it's gonna be
Yes.
our volunteers. Anyone willing?
I can do it, let's just
Okay.
like put together a schedule, you
Yeah,
know.
pick up
Just-
20 kits.
Just want to get the blessing from Kate to make sure it's okay. You tell me where you're going to be.
Okay, in the hallway, right out front, right out your door, like literally, so they trip over us before we walk
I don't think
in.
she'll have an issue with it.
Okay.
I just want to make sure she's
Okay.
aware of it.
Is that something that you would need a schedule in advance, or is that a Tuesday morning, I have some time, I could come over kind of
I
thing?
don't believe she'll have an issue with a flexible schedule.
Well, anytime,
Right.
yeah, no,
Understanding
I'll get it
this
done with an
room gets
email.
used for
Everybody be
meetings.
copied on the email.
There, you know.
Okay, I
Every-
just
yeah.
was just trying to clarify.
Everybody
how-
be copied on the email, but for us, we should keep,
Well,
a-
question, if we're going to have a volunteer come in, why would we limit it to people going to the DPW? Why wouldn't we have it out front for everybody who's coming into town hall?
Sure.
So
Saying.
downstairs.
Smart.
yeah,
You know, fish, you know, put the line down where there are more fish.
Yeah.
Love his
I'm
analogies.
willing.
fine. So if it's nice, we'll be out front. If it's not, we'll be inside.
Yeah.
And
Good idea.
that'd be fine. Fine. But what we do need to make it easier for our volunteers is to have a stockpile of kits in this building.
Is there a closet?
Do we have a place where we can put 20 or 30 of them?
Well,
Your
there's
office.
10. There's always 10 to 12 in
That's
Cindy's
a
office.
question you want to aim at Karen Dunn and Linda O'Leary. Unofficially, there is space, but officially, I'm not sure there is, but
Right now, we're keeping some in DPW offices.
Yes.
Is there room for more?
10 to 12.
10 to 12 we fit.
Is there more? Is there room for more during the next 6 weeks?
I
No.
can move out. You can use my office.
Okay. Sounds good.
Stack them up, 6 high, we're good.
again, unofficially, I know that there is unoccupied space in the storage closet that another commission that I sit on uses, but officially, somebody may have proprietary rights to that vacant space, so I don't know.
Okay,
Okay.
but when we get approval first. we'll ask
Or you got them in your car and
Right.
that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's another.
Oh, I also found a chalkboard.
Yes, I saw it.
You saw it? I put it in the
Yes.
garage.
Yes,
Saw
thank
it.
you.
Is it okay? Is it good?
Yeah, it's got a whiteboard on one
Yes.
side and a chalkboard on.
Yes.
Is that the 6 foot tall one you were
No,
talking
no,
about?
no, no,
Yeah, I was gonna
no.
say, that's not 6 feet tall.
No, the 6 feet tall, somebody grabbed it.
Okay,
Somebody
okay. Yeah,
took
no,
it.
this one's better.
Yeah,
It's
this one's better.
Yeah.
But that one was huge. I've
Yeah.
never seen one like it.
So it's like an easel, and it has a chalkboard on one side, which we probably wouldn't use that much, but it has a whiteboard on the other side. So we can just move it around, and as, I think it was your idea, Kathy, we just, like, write notes about anything, that needs to
Anything
be
you want.
noted.
Even on the racers there. Yeah, the racers.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those pens,
Oh,
too,
yeah?
leftover
You got
pens,
rid
so
of-
I can bring some of those in.
All right, to be, or not to be, what's in, what's out. Are we ready to go with this?
Yeah, I had suggested a couple little changes,
Yeah.
and Sophie made them
Okay.
already, so,
So basically, this is something else we need. We need a final, high-quality PDF from Sophie with the front and the back. And we need to get, a few hundred copies made at DPW to put on the counter. Same thing, as people come in to get their stickers, they have the option to pick up
take a look at that. I did.
the new single-stream
So
list.
we were gonna have this on the front of it?
Yep.
With the
asterisks,
asterisks, and
yep.
would you rather have that or this? This is something that this is what Greenwich did,
Mhm.
and they.
adopted it.
Yeah,
This includes everything that goes into the clothing bins?
this will, yeah, the back of, what's going to be on the back of this document lists the text.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in one moment. Yeah, other items accepted for recycling at Darien Recycling Center, textiles, then with the parentheses of what to include with the textiles.
And that can be a long list, actually.
Okay,
depending
so-
on who you use.
Yeah, so
Well, we usually only include clothing, shoes, accessories,
Linens.
and what's the other thing?
Linens.
Linens.
So let's talk about this now as a good tangent. We discovered through conversations with Use Again that although when we initially contracted with them, they would take basically any kind of usable or unusable textile and pay us for it. Now they only want usable clothing and shoes.
Right.
And
And textiles, linens, and accessories.
that's not good enough for us. We want we want a provider that reuses to the greatest extent possible.
Bless you, bless you.
We want a provider that reuses to the greatest extent possible. So whether it's going to get torn up in insulation or rags for industry or wherever it goes, we want a company that does that, not just,
When is our contract up?
well, I think at any time, is it month to month?
Yeah, it's not.
And so,
So.
you did some research?
I did, and I have 3 different companies that could do this, and I have several others listed here that I didn't get information from. Of these companies, one seems to me to stand head and shoulders above the others in terms of the thoroughness and professionalness of what they're doing, and their track record. And they would take footwear, shoes, heels, pumps, sandals, boots, work boots, dress boots, winter boots, sneakers, cleats, slippers, flip-flops. That's just footwear. Accessories, hats, pocketbooks, belts, gloves, duffel bags, ties, scarves, totes, bathrobes, and then all the clothing and linens, and stuffed animals.
No
That's a good
carpet.
list.
That's a great.
That's a great
Yeah.
list.
Usable or unusable.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
No carpets, like even small.
Yeah, no one
Doesn't
takes
take
those.
carpets.
Okay.
Usually
No
they
one
don't
takes
take
Russian
carpet.
carpets. But, okay, so did you have a conversation with them?
Yes, I have a sample contract, I have the list of things they take, I have a sample of the report they give you, of how much they're taking away in poundage. They're all $100 a ton, it seems. I did not find
Is that what
any
we're
difference
paying
in
right now?
price.
Okay, so we were able to negotiate with Use Again up to 200 a ton after they operated for about a year, and they valued the waste stream that they were collecting.
Yes.
So we might have to go back down and/or try to have that same conversation after operation for a little while. That makes sense.
Do any of these companies, or each one of them, all of them, none of them stipulate that the clothing is usable?
No. No, these guys are willing to take unusable clothing.
Okay.
So like stained T-shirts,
Yes.
ripped, yeah,
Yes.
worn
Because
out.
I know it's a very narrow slice, but the individuals in town that I've spoken with, that's the biggest bugaboo that, again, small, narrow sample, 10, 15 people, and they all say that the biggest problem that they have now is, you mean I can't throw a ripped T-shirt in there, and I can't throw something that has an
Yeah.
oil stain in there? And that creates a problem at the household level, which makes people stop going to the clothing bin.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a small slice. I think a lot of people are unhappy that
Yeah.
they can no longer put unusable
Right.
items in there. I think that was one of the,
That was one of the comments.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I only spoke to, like I said, several handful of people, but
So,
I
what's the
suspect
name
that
of
that
this
was an
company that's-
accurate.
Especially with worn out
the-
sneakers.
The one that I would be recommending is a company called Bay State. They are already doing Ridgefield, Newington, West Hartford, New Canaan. They will paint the bin with the Darien logo on it.
Ooh.
Fancy.
And they would do weekly pickups.
So,
Weekly, wow.
Wow.
Which would be good, because much like the food scrap bins, I'm always amazed when I go to the use again bins and I can actually put something in them.
yeah.
I only made 4 of these, unfortunately, but this is a summary of the ones I reached out to. And I don't know who should have it, but I have, as I say, the sample contract and everything for Bay State.
So, in a moment, we're going to take the temperature of the group on making this switch. Before I do so, how would you effectuate this transition, should we decide to make it easy, any issues? If we
Just like we did
said,
the last one, we contact Hughes again to remove their bins.
Yep.
As soon as I have a confirmed date of when the new company will be starting.
okay.
We'll just swap them out.
And do you want to handle the initiation of the new contract and the,
I think I'm in when I can.
yeah, okay. So he should get the sample contract.
Sorry.
It's very flexible, by the way. You can cancel it at any time.
All those, wait, let's, do I have a motion?
Wait, do they provide the bins?
Yes.
Okay,
And they paint them with your logo.
okay.
I hate micromanaging people who have spent a lot of energy doing all the research that I don't want to do, so I'm going to make a motion that we accept Ed's information, and it sounds to me like we should be contracting with Bay State, so that would be the motion I would make.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor, say aye. That's 6. All right.
Great.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ed.
Great idea.
And thank you very much, Ed. So going then back to this, really.
Hold that thing. Ed, do me a favor, email me what you just handed me, because it's easier for me with the minutes.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'd be happy to. I'll have to get your email, because I'm not getting your.
Oh, I should get your email too.
You don't get it from me?
Here, why don't you write your email on the back of that? I'll add you to the list. So under textiles, we need to add usable or unusable
Okay,
clothing, shoes, linens, accessories.
okay.
I keep calling you
So-
Ed, not Cliff.
It's all right.
Oh, Cliff.
And I don't know, you might want this because of your brochure, but this is the list of stuff that they would take.
Okay.
Can I see the what's in, what's out list?
This is
The
the,
what's in,
they
what's
said
out,
they're
once it's
flexible about
updated,
this, but this is the
Huh?
sample
What's the-
agreement.
once the
And this
list
is the
comes
kind
over,
of
is
report
in
that they
your
would
hands.
produce.
Craig has it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we all,
hold on.
it was emailed to
I
us.
can put it on the wire.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Okay, so the question on the table now, we produced a version of this what's in, what's out list with a few asterisks to note things that were different in Darien. And the format followed precisely what the state uses in their one what's in, what's out list. And Carolyn is wondering if we should go with something a little more informational that highlights
More personalized too.
highlights why we're giving them a new list, what's new, and it covers the plastic bags and the shredded paper and the styrofoam as highlights of things that you used to put in single stream that you can no longer put in single stream, versus having to review the list again and see where the changes occur. I like the way this looks better, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of the fewer words, the better kind of person, especially since, any sign is likely to not be read. But we also are generally talking to the people that are trying, right? And the people that want either of these are the people that are trying, right? And they just want to know what the right thing to do is.
I think what you said about visuals is great. What about consideration of just eliminating the accepted and not accepted and just post new rules for recycling all by its lonesome?
As a separate,
Just as, if people are already, if they're not recycling, they're not going to start recycling because you put a new piece of paper out. Okay? We're talking to the people who are currently recycling. They already know what was in and what's out. They just need the new information. They don't need to be told what they already knew. They only need to know what has changed.
What's telling them what they already know?
The what's in and what's out column.
The
Well,
problem
there's a
is,
lot of changes,
I
though.
thought I knew it and I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
issue.
problem.
Yeah.
And I, you know,
My family members.
I
don't
come
like
with
it.
a,
But what we're trying to solve here is getting this styrofoam and the tape and the new
Plastic,
items
yeah.
that used to go in, out. So let's just solve the problem we're trying to solve, and let's not try and
Well-
make recycling perfect.
yeah,
No, people need to know what can go in the bin
Yeah.
I like
as well. They
accepted,
do.
not accepted.
yeah, or
I
for just
post that on the
something more
website.
like
Makes it
this.
clearer,
That's
accepted,
like
not
what
this.
it's
accepted.
going, but that same sheet will be on. I believe that you need the 3 columns because there are always new people moving into town.
Okay.
There are
Yes.
multiple family
Yes.
members in my family that if I stick it on the counter for a few days and say, see this, it's not that there are a finite number of people that already
Yeah.
have learned everything.
point.
So I
Constant
would leave it as-
reinforcement.
So what about
I don't,
turning it around so that this column is the first column?
Okay, I did that because that template was given to me by another town.
So it was easy
I,
to do.
yes,
Yeah.
I could not do
okay.
that. We would have to
Got it.
pay to
Yeah.
have that done.
Yeah.
I would leave it,
Easy.
I like that.
I like that.
So-
This is free.
So again, I think-
What you want,
The
Never
basic-
mind, that's
Carolyn,
good.
Basic
she said
question
good answer.
is, so back to where we were.
Yeah,
Do we do something that looks like this with the asterisks as we presented previously? Or do we do something that looks like this with the 3rd column? That's the basic question.
Number 2.
I like the new rules.
I like the new rules, number 2.
I like the
I like
the
number 2.
3-column one.
Yeah, and if you could make the new rules in, just the header in the new rules for recycling in bolder print
Okay.
and
Or like a-
Yeah.
underlined so it screams off the page.
which,
So basically, you want to try to get something like
Yeah,
Bold
box.
it.
that.
Yeah, but that's,
Right.
yes,
Or
bold
like
it.
that, something like,
Yeah.
so
Bold
it
it.
stands out.
okay.
Mhm.
So we'll put that on the front and then what Sophie's doing on the back.
Yes,
Okay.
And
And now
then-
those will be available on the counter in DPW.
yes, and we have
office.
printing money to print a few hundred copies, 300 copies to keep on the,
You do?
we do?
Yes.
We do. Was that a question or a statement?
Yes.
That's great.
You're all set.
Good
So
job.
this
Carolyn.
is gonna reach the people who come in to get their stickers.
On the counter, grab it.
The people who don't won't get this unless, I guess we'll put it on the website.
We're gonna, that's what we're gonna have to do in terms of trying to work with our partners to get it in as many places as possible.
Okay.
Why not distribute them where you sell the little kits?
Oh, that too, sure.
So the other thing is this list is not comprehensive. This is basically just parroting what was on this list, which is like the most commonly recycled items. So there is a more comprehensive list that we have. I ran out of printer ink, so I couldn't print it out, but this is
Yeah.
Greenwich's list. And we have a list like this, so we're gonna have to put both of these on the website.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
this is referenced in this
So
document.
we'll have the, yeah, okay.
Would the newspaper put this in as a public service insert?
They will do it if we pay them to.
No, non-pay.
They will do
No.
it if we pay them to.
Forget it.
You can find public service.
Forget it. No public service, you're saying?
No free,
Yeah.
no free lunch.
The town has a list of media contacts, and if we send it out to them, even if only one of them picks it up as a story, that's one more than none.
Linda has a list.
If you write the story for them, they'll print it.
I was
Well,
gonna
no,
say, I
so
would.
have we done we probably haven't done a letter to the editor or a story on, hey, there's new recycling rules, and this is what they are.
Right, because we were waiting to get them 100% established, which
Yes.
they are for the time being.
But until we print them,
Yes.
right? So that's an
We
option.
can do a press release.
Yeah,
Yes.
press release
Yeah.
is great.
Yes,
That's a good
yes.
idea.
Yes,
So we'll
it-
do a press release.
Strongly
I-
urge a press release that, with when you get the flyer.
Referring people.
That you'd still, the press would have your finished flyer.
Right.
And the links to the website, and someone will print that.
In addition, Christine and I met with Sally this morning at the library about doing a Recycling 101
Oh, yeah.
seminar similar to what New Canaan did, and Sally is totally on board with it.
I'll help with that.
Yeah, so can I just throw out 2 dates, and
Yeah.
can we see? I have already emailed Michael Farrow from City Carding, because he is the person who really determines what can go in single stream, and he was on the panel in New Canaan. And I just emailed him a few minutes before I came here. But Sally had 2 dates, and one is,
And I'm sorry, I'm having trouble keeping up. These are dates for what now?
a recycling seminar at the library.
Recycling 101 in Darien.
And I think it was Thursday, June 6th.
Available.
Okay, good. Ed? Because Ed, you're going to be on it too. So
You were Darren, whoever you want to send.
right.
What time is that again?
We discussed 10:30 to noon, which is,
10:30.
Oh, during the day.
yeah, it's during the day.
I didn't know it was during the day.
Well, I mean, we could do it at night. We talked
Can we do an
about that.
evening one?
Pardon?
I would love to do an evening one or a late afternoon one.
Late afternoon, evening.
Do they have a problem with the evening?
Their evenings
you
get
do-
booked up pretty,
I mean,
To target different audiences?
it's just a question of whether we can get the people from City Carding to come twice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we want them to come.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I'm available.
okay. And then the other date was, which Christine pointed out, is after school gets out, so it might not be as good, but I think it was June 20th.
Okay. I could do either of those, and let's say we have a
what
preference to
was
do
the
June
second
6th.
one?
June 20th?
You're looking at the same time frame,
Yes,
and that's also a Thursday, right?
yes. So 6/6 and 6/20, 10:30 to noon, library. And I'm waiting to hear back from Michael.
Oh, City Carding.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I can promote that also. I mean, people are so interested in learning about it, so.
So
The
6.
6th would be better for parents.
Yes,
Kids are
that's what
agree.
we were thinking.
6C or 2C?
Before we move on, did we actually officially approve the literature, and did we need to make a motion to do so?
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the item that we thought we were approving, which is the what's in,
I'm sure
what's out.
you'll write it up nicely.
I will
Which is-
second that.
Which is the change, these are the changes.
All those in favor of approving whatever Terry said?
Aye.
Okay.
2C. Talked to Dan a little bit about helping the swap shop run smoothly, and especially during times of congestion and with some of our more overly zealous shoppers who stay a long time, that it would be helpful to have some kind of rule poster added to the swap shop, highlighting the 20-minute time limit a little more clearly. So based on an email from Dan with some suggested language, I kind of put this together for the commission's consideration. To help the swap shop run smoothly, please note, there is a 20-minute limit for shopping and drop-off. Here's the key line: volunteers are authorized to enforce this 20-minute rule based on congestion, safety, and swap shop function. And then please be understanding if asked to leave after 20 minutes. Thank you, enjoy the shop. I changed it a little bit.
No, that's good.
A little less
That's good.
heavy-handed, a
No,
little
that's
more
good.
like,
That's good.
you know.
Yes.
I would just recommend you put safety before congestion.
Yes. And we're looking at Saturday when it really gets congested, and we want to
Ask people to move along.
move along. You know, you've had your 20 minutes, and now other people can come in. During the week, it's not a problem.
No.
You know, we
Well, but
don't-
even during the week, yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday
when I went
was.
over to drop off the luggage.
Mhm.
I had to wait at the gate, and not that it's an eternity, but I had to wait at the gate a full 30 seconds because the woman in front of me wanted to go into the swap shop and there was a woman trying to get out who had trouble backing her gigantic SUV out to get out. So, I mean, it creates issues.
So,
It does.
would this be hung inside or outside?
Outside.
Okay, so if
Yeah,
it's
as soon
hung,
as they come in, just one, pretty nice sign, Ed, that people can see and we can point to.
so if it's hung outside, it needs to be of a quality that is weatherproof.
Right, exactly.
And how large would you like it?
A little larger than that.
So maybe 2 feet by 3 feet?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Color.
Do we want to do the green on white, or white on green?
That's fine. That's what you
White
want.
on green?
White and green's good.
Put it on that corridor.
Yeah, that sounds good. That'll last until we change the rules again.
That's good. Thank you.
Green paint.
All those, someone else make the motion.
Right, so I'm going to make a motion that with the change of putting safety in front of congestion, that we approve the board as written to be printed on a 2x3 white on green print weatherproof board to make Dan's life easier and make the entire swap shop function
Run
more
more smoothly.
beautifully.
Yes.
Second, anyone?
Second.
And any further discussion? All those in favor of Terry, please raise your hand.
One more rule I'd like to put into effect is only volunteers can discard items. Because people are coming in and they're just walking in and saying, gee, that shouldn't be here, and they're throwing it out. And, oh, yeah. Yeah, they're non-volunteers.
So let's say that you can
I
write,
don't
you can
care
write
about-
that on a poster and hang it on the wall, right?
Okay,
We
no,
don't need-
I just
we
want to
don't
make
need like
sure, I
another-
don't want to put any rules up unless we all agree to them.
There's
You know what I'm
there's
saying?
one of the Harry Potter books and movies where the new headmistress is constantly putting
Because
another rule on the
so-
wall.
so- But
and
someone
eventually, like,
someone
it's a
will
big
ask,
wall like
who
that
put,
covered
who
with
put that rule together? But it would really help, because people will come in and, people will be bringing stuff in, and someone will say, that's terrible, I don't like that, shouldn't be here. They throw it out.
So I have a large format printer. I can print out a poster for you.
Right.
So we'll
If
email
you
back and
can.
forth, and then you
Good.
can just tack it on the wall inside.
That's good.
So
Okay.
I don't think we need a motion. My understanding is, since he's the
He can
person in charge of
administer the
swap
shop how-
If I can administer the swap shop,
Yeah,
you're in
fine. I just
charge.
want
Yeah.
to make sure of that.
But this was
I don't
spending
wanna-
money, so it was a little different.
Overplay my,
Moving quickly through.
oh,
item-
wait a minute, one more thing.
One more thing, Columbo.
Ed, we would like to purchase a hand truck. We really need a hand truck. Do we have any money for a hand truck?
I don't believe that the Boy Scouts sold the hand trucks that were given
Donated.
to us for the tag sale.
Why don't you talk to Frank and see if we can scrounge one up?
We'll find
That
out.
would be terrific, because we need one. Good, thank you.
It's going to break their back.
How are you going to keep it chained down before someone swaps?
We're
swaps out with
we're
it?
gonna chain it. We're gonna chain it.
Are you gonna paint it right
I'm
yellow?
gonna
like,
paint
I'm
it,
gonna
chain
plug
it.
in, I see that hand
We
truck,
had-
I'm like, I need a hand truck.
We had a real nice one. We
Right
put it in the
yellow.
back, it was gone.
All right. Energy Task Force. So Terry, you'll follow up with Frank on that?
Yes, I will.
Okay. I'm going to just quickly say, we had our grand opening for our solar PV system installations. Hopefully you saw the press we got. It was fantastic.
You were on TV?
I was on News 12, man. I'm sorry, Channel 79. I'm moving on up to News 12. I don't know.
I actually looked for the clip, because a lot of their clips are available online. I was gonna run it, but it's not there.
They didn't stream it.
No.
Oh, well.
I can look again.
It was
Maybe
good. They got the
there's-
good quote. That's what I was happy
Yeah.
with anyway. Police station, how's the police station doing?
Report's complete. We're setting up a meeting with the consultant now to review it.
Okay, great. Anybody interested in viewing the report? Are you willing to share?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask somebody else to start taking the minutes from this point. I've got to leave.
Who's my volunteer?
Everybody steps, 2 steps back, one person stands.
That was a half a hand raise over there. You're in. Just take notes from here on, send them to Terry, he'll put them in. Okay, so here it's 1:30, it's an hour after we started, and we're finally getting to sustainable CT, which we could talk about for 4 hours.
You're right.
What we have is
Yeah, so what I would propose, first up, we'll hear any updates that
I have some.
Kathy wants to give us. But what I would propose is after those updates and a general discussion, that I prepare next month's agenda to be a sustainable CT only agenda.
Good idea.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Good idea.
Next
so-
meeting is just sustainable.
Or a
city.
separate.
That would be the idea, yeah.
Okay.
Or a separate meeting.
Yeah, or maybe I'll just put it
Especially-
up front, we talk about it first, and then we rush all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay, so this is actually broader than Sustainable CT, but since it says Sustainable CT, I thought we had a discussion that Carolyn has been writing articles for the magazine Darien Neighbors, so I have a copy of the March and the May articles, one that explains Sustainable CT to our neighbors, and the other which is about recycling and wish cycling. So I'll pass these around.
There was one on the pollinator pathway too.
And I thought that I had 3 in there, but I can only
Yeah.
find 2 at the moment. So I just thought I'd pass them around.
Kathy, what publication is that?
That's called Darien Neighbors, which is a magazine which shows up in my mailbox once a month. But I understand it does not go to all households.
It doesn't. I was gonna ask, do you, are you gonna keep these or?
You may have them if you'd like them. Or
Because I don't, it doesn't come to me.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen them.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's a great article.
Well, how
It
about
comes
you
to
give
my
it
house.
to
They're
me
a
and
good
I'll
article.
PDF them, and then you have them online, and
Okay.
then they can go to everybody.
Right.
How's that? Why don't I just do
Okay.
that? And then I don't have to keep the paper. I can recycle.
Wow.
Okay.
Or
But I'd like.
Or you want to keep the paper? Why don't
Yeah.
you do it
Good
and send
article.
them?
Okay.
Can you PDF them back to us?
I think so. Yeah.
Now, we talked about.
I'll PDF them. and
um,
send them to you next meeting.
Okay.
That-
We talked about trying to multiply your effort by having the right to send these articles to other publications. Did you ever have that conversation with her?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Which was to lead into that, it seems like there's good things here that,
Yeah.
whether they can be on the town website, whether they could go out through other organizations. Sustainable CT itself often puts links to things up that I see coming through on the Facebook page. So if there's a way to play off of those, it would be great.
Yeah, they're
But
not
the-
available online, unfortunately.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can't just link them, which is.
But if you had a PDF, you
Yeah.
could certainly put it, if we had permission to. So
Yeah.
maybe what
Yeah, I think
our rights to
if
that
I
we're-
did
are.
ask about that and never got an answer.
I mean, if we're gonna be the ghostwriters here.
Right.
We need to own the content.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask if anyone else wants to write the next one. Craig is gonna be the next one. It's for the solar panels. Installations, because it doesn't have to be just
Yeah.
me.
Well, I think we quickly talked about is having this length article on, this is sustainable CT.
Yeah, it's
and this is
500
what we're
words.
doing.
Which
you
is
know?
the first one.
Oh, we did that one, that was this
Yes,
one.
that was that
Oh, wait.
one.
Well, what did we talk about? We talked about something, we're doing the solar, that's going in.
Mm-hmm. The next one that would be good would a good one to have for the next one, which would be in July, would be water. Something about water conservation. Does anyone want to take a stab? Because otherwise I can do it. But
You're
I
doing
mean,
so much work, I want to get other folks
yeah,
involved.
so water conservation or anything else that's
Gateway,
timely
grant
to,
report.
because there's a little bit of a lead time. The next one will be published in July. What do you think? You get your picture in?
Carolyn, if I may, isn't there Bill Cavers doing some water quality testing?
He does do water quality
Yeah,
testing.
he's got some gizmos down at the nature, at Cherry Lawn Park, I've seen those, and
Oh, yeah,
there
maybe-
was another mention of.
We might get him to do the article. Yeah, what are you doing? Can you do 500 words on what you're doing and why you're doing it?
Yeah,
But if
I
you
can ask
focus
Bill.
on water conservation,
But it's water quality, it's still in the lane.
conserving.
You know, again, under the sustainable CT umbrella, we can do water quality too, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay,
I'll talk to
so
Bill.
that, shall we continue? So, status update, I had a meeting with Ally Ramstek and Diane Barston in the Human Services Office to talk about sustainable CT actions that relate to them. So we are sharing ideas back and forth as to things that they're doing. It is interesting because when it comes to applying for points, there may be many things that are already happening that when you sit down and talk to people, you find out. Their medical equipment closet, the food pantry, there are a number of things that happen in town. We ended up in a longer discussion about things like camp scholarships that are available and even beach permitting, and we talked about a little bit about the food composting, that there are
That's
people
something you
that
wanted to talk
don't have access to some of the services in town by nature of, they don't have a dump sticker, so they can't get into the dump, or they don't have a beach permit, and there are some things going on. So there were many ideas that we discussed. In relation to that, Sustainable CT reached out to me, and I have the name of a woman named Christina Smith, who will be our equity coach, who I now have a phone number to call her to talk about equity. Christina, her name is Christina Smith. I don't know if that's real,
Okay.
Smith. But an equity coach with Sustainable CT, which is a free, no-cost resource to us to help us to develop an equity plan. And so hopefully, it may be that we bring Ally in with Christina. But the next step is a meeting of interested people to work on that 9.1 action item. So I'm trying to work that out. I haven't gotten too far, but I have the coach's name. Ally and her staff, Diane, are on board to work with us if it's appropriate.
Can I ask one more question?
Mhm.
Was she provided by Sustainable CT?
She
or
is a
was recommended. By
No,
CT?
she is a sustainable CT equity coach, and it is a no-cost resource that we have at our disposal as a registered community. And the work has to be done with her in May and June. So I am working on that particular. There are a couple things that I want people to know about, which may or may not be, people can attend, and I'm hoping the first one is tomorrow. It's a webinar at 10 a.m. Called, and I'll pass this around, it's a webinar on Sustainable CT's no-cost assistance programs. So that includes things, resources for solar, resources for equity, which is the one I'm working on, and resources for benchmarking energy. So the webinar is going to explain how you can get these resources. Unfortunately, I am booked until 10. I'll try to get to the back end of it, but if anybody else is interested, you can register. I'm passing that around.
Will it be online?
I don't
after?
know the answer to
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
I
they
can't do it
often,
either.
I think they are often online, but I
Yeah,
can't
they are.
guarantee that.
Sometimes, some of them are.
The next key date is the Municipal Action Success Story event, which is going to be held in Stamford. That's a Sustainable CT event that's run by the CCM. It's June 14th from 10 to 1. It's being held at the Carousel at the Mill River Park, and it is a 3-hour discussion of Sustainable CT and applying for it and different action items. The action items specific to this one that the guests will be talking about what they've done in their communities are transportation and housing. So I don't know who within our community, anybody on this commission can go. You have to register through CCM. But within the town, if there's anybody in any of the departments for whom this would be an interesting morning discussion. So I can throw that back at, I can
Did
throw it
you
to
send-
Jamie.
did you send that
I've
email?
noticed this before, but I'm noticing it again because I put all the dates down.
Okay.
Jamie knows this is happening. I know that Ally knows it's happening.
Will you send me that link one more time?
Yes.
Copy Jamie, I guess.
Sure. And
And will you copy,
I can copy everybody.
Yeah.
I will send it again.
It's
But that
through
is,
CCM.
it's through CCM, but it is a Sustainable CT event for
Got it.
Sustainable CT communities that are registered or are considering registering. And it's basically the executive director of Sustainable CT will present, and the success stories will be from towns that will describe what they've done in transportation and housing.
I might be
So-
able to go to that.
and even if you're, even figuring out how they approached what they did and apply, there's a lot of that back and forth in that discussion about what did you do, how did you do it, how did you get the points, what did you hit, roadblocks did you hit? So it's explanation of sustainable CT in the broad sense, but it's focusing on 2 of the 9 action items, transportation and housing. So that's that, and there are a couple of,
Tomorrow night?
yeah, there are 4 different events. I'm just quickly read them. Anybody on the TV? There is the discussion of the Blue Plan at the Darien Library tomorrow night, which is sponsored by DEEP. Again, these are the kinds of things that may, for us, be
Get points
point
because we're helping do
action
them.
items.
Yeah.
The Blue Plan is the plan to manage our coastal resources, I think is the simplest way I understand it. And this is a public comment period for the plan which the state is going to implement. So it's informational, and then it's a place for feedback. If you have interest in coastal area management issues, water quality, I'm not sure how broad it goes. But Darien Watershed Commission, I believe, is involved in this. It's at the library, and it's with the DEEP executives or the DEEP directors.
What time is
Coastal
that?
Commission.
Coastal
probably.
Commission.
What time is that?
7 p.m., I
7
believe,
p.m.
at the library, I think.
Yeah, I
But
think
it's
it
on the
is.
library
Oh,
website.
it's on
And
library
I
website.
have a link to that. They're showing Bagot again at the New Canaan Library on May 9th, if anybody cares to see that also. May 9th is tomorrow, and that's at night.
So that's opposite the blue
It
Blue
is.
Plan? Okay.
And there, I will forward to everybody some interesting films that are coming up. One at the Greenwich Film Festival called Map to Paradise, which is about the ocean and the efforts to clean the ocean and the revolution to protect the oceans. But more importantly, I'm hoping I can get us, and if whether our commission would be interested in sponsoring something through my efforts with the Climate Reality Project. There's a film called Happening, which was directed by the Redford Project, and it is Climate Reality leaders have access to this film, and it's called Happening, A Clean Energy Revolution. It is going to be shown in New Haven on the 22nd of June, and I'm hoping we can show it more than once because the project is Southern Connecticut, and they took it for over in New Haven. I was like, can we try to offer, and we could do it again. It could be a sustainability
So how would that
event.
work? We work with the library?
We work with the library,
and-
Darien
and
Nature
host a
Center. It's called
screening.
Most Americans Understand Except the Reality of Climate Change. Basically, clean energy revolution is quietly underway. Electricity generated from wind, solar, more affordable, blah, blah, blah.
When you say sponsor,
So-
you're not talking about money, you're just talking
No,
about...
because the Redford Center has offered it through Climate
Okay.
Reality Project
They're just looking for
at no
champions
charge
to
show it.
to show
You're
it
getting a
and
number of
advertise it,
free
yeah.
screenings through the Redford Project, through the
Okay.
Climate Reality
Yeah,
Project.
I think we should talk to Sally about it.
And I don't
Yeah.
know whether we can show it twice. If Connecticut
Oh.
has taken New
It's one.
Haven,
Yeah.
if it can be screened more than once,
Okay.
I would like to
So you're
see
gonna-
if we
you're gonna
could
check
work
on
on
that.
something like that.
Okay,
That's my report.
thank you very much.
I'll send all these links. I'll put all the links to the different
Okay.
things in one email when I leave. I did actually bring, oh, this was the municipal training. I did have one more thing. I'm sorry, I
Go
know we're
ahead.
going late. But Sustainable Fairfield County does meet. They met Monday night, and we haven't yet really participated, but I will pass this around. They advertise events in every community, and the signature events for 2019, New Canaan had a recycling event, Westport had a maker fair. Someone is doing the Weston Lachute Farm. There's
Wilton had their event.
yeah, there's an EV showcase in September. There's a cleanup day in Norwalk. These things all come and go. They have speakers. And one of the things that was presented from the Maker Fair is a program, and I'll give this to Caroline, but we keep talking about ways we might show the difference between composting and recycling. So there are some resources that we can all share, particularly, and it actually says if you're interested in what we did here. They had like a setup where they showed you, and they collected over a day or a week or something the amount that came out of the waste stream by actually showing people where to put things. And it wasn't like every garbage can in the town, but it was an education method. So again, I printed one, I'll pass that around. I try to.
So these are just
attend-
kind of ideas.
These are ideas that, as we're working with you in composting, or if we're working with Sustainable CT, or we're working with you, we wanted to try to do something at a beach, or at a cleanup day, or at a something. We also have the opportunity, if we develop a bigger event in this community, we can certainly use that Sustainable
But yes,
Fairfield resource.
The reason you're bringing it is, here's ideas of what other communities
Are
are doing.
doing that.
Just to put in the
that are-
milieu
they're
here.
Put in the milieu.
We're
they're-
not talking about, like, we need to start planning an event, right?
No, I'm not, no, I'm saying this organization
Yeah.
shares the events on sustainability that they're
Yeah.
doing, be it electric vehicles, or makers fairs, or composting education, and we can look at what they do. They also share every town with every other town. So if we were to have something we wanted to share, we would be able to present it back to that group, and they all email
And also
back
for
and forth.
credit for.
And yes, and things that we were doing that would.
Like every year, Friends of Woodlands Park does a cleanup, and DEG kind of drove more traffic there through the schools.
Okay.
So
Yes.
there's a huge
All right, we got 2 minutes
Yes.
before we need to leave the room.
Yep.
The last item we need to discuss is, there is a question of whether or not we should offer recycling center passes for free to either low-income residents or disabled residents. Now, one question I had for you, Ed, was I thought we already did that
Yeah.
for the
Thought we did
folks
that.
on the tax abatement list?
There's only one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are doing that. We're fine to continue doing that.
And seniors get one free sticker.
Get one free.
And seniors get one free. And so the question is, if you happen to be a disabled resident but aren't low income and you're not a senior, are you in a category that is uncovered? And should we cover that? My sense is this, I have a disabled parent, but to me, disabled doesn't necessarily mean you can't afford to buy a recycling center pass. So I don't necessarily see the financial need.
Can I input where some of that, if
Yeah.
it came from Ally? If some of those
Good.
questions came through
the
Human
email.
Services?
Okay.
Yes. In meeting with her on Sustainable CT, one of a need, if we're talking an equity plan, so she's kind of gone and talked to you,
Mhm.
but from an equity plan, there are people in town who do not have, they may live in public assisted housing, they are in an apartment, they do not have a dump, they have private haulers, whatever the situation is, they don't have dump passes, they don't, and they may not have the funds to buy one. They're the people that come in and use the food pantry, they're the people that come in and use the medical
So,
supply. Let me
if
finish
you-
with this, so that those people often say it would be so good if we could come to the swap shop, because there are often things that we need. So they distribute goods and resources to people that don't have access to them.
100% get it.
So that was the discussion that led to
100% get
that.
it. We got
I'm
one-
not
we
making the
got- we got-
policy.
We got less than a
Yep.
minute.
But that's where it came from, that's all.
I got it. I get it. Why aren't those people on the abatement list? Because they don't own property?
You're asking the wrong, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Longer,
Yeah,
I'm trying to say, this is a longer conversation.
This is.
Okay.
this is a little more time.
Okay. I guess we'll consider that for next time. Because our intent is that people that can't afford it
Good guess.
should get a sticker. That's it. I'm on the afford. If you can't afford it, we can provide it. I'm 100% okay with that. But there's got to be means testing that DPW is not responsible for, which is why we've used the tax assessor in the past.
And it might be there's one day a year that they can go and use it, or there may be some other program, and it came up through the equity,
Is that an aye, second letter?
CI, yes.
Thank you.
yeah,
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Channel 79.
Yeah.